for the Village of Midlothian, Wednesday, February 24th, 2021 at 7 p.m. Roll call, please. Clerk Moscow.
Trustee Caveney?
Here.
Trustee Crowley?
Here.
Trustee Gillis? Trustee Ivan?
Here.
Trustee Killily?
Here.
Trustee Kreis?
Here.
Mayor LaRue?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence for our fallen veterans. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
At this time, Mayor, I would just like to say, longtime resident and Korean War Army veteran Ken Grill passed away on February 13th. So please keep the Grill family in your thoughts and prayers. And again, he did serve admirably, but he also was a longtime resident and business owner in Midlothian.
Very sad to hear that news. Yes. Everyone knew Ken in Midlothian, that's for sure. He'll be missed.
Lived a long life, 89 years old.
Wow. Good. Thank you, ma'am. At this time, I declare that an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent because of the coronavirus pandemic.
And Mayor, you have a quorum visual verified by audio or visual confirmation.
Thank you, sir. Deputy Clerk PULASKI, was there any comment from the public?
No, there was none.
I did receive several correspondence from residents, once again thanking our Public Works Department for a phenomenal job with a pretty hefty snowfall and frigid temperatures that followed. They've done a great job, and now with the water main breaks, they're busy in all different angles. So I just wanted to share that with the board, and you, Superintendent Sperry. I've received a lot of comments from the residents about your department. So thank you.
Very appreciated by our department. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to tonight's consent agenda. Number one, approval to engage Robinson Engineering for the 151st Street and Jolly Home Subdivision Flood Solutions as recommended by the SOQ committee. Number two, approval of the proposal with GovQA for public records software solution. Number three, approval of the January 2021 Building Department monthly report. Number four, approval of the January 2021 Fire Department monthly report. Number five, approval of the January 2021 Health Department monthly report. Number six, approval of the January 2021 Police Department monthly report. Number seven, approval of the January 2021 Public Works Department monthly report. Number eight, approval of the January 2021 Treasurer's monthly report. And number nine, approval of the list of bills. Is there any item any trustee would like off of tonight's consent agenda? Hearing no objection, I'm looking for a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda as read.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion?
I have one comment on the list of bills.
Yes, ma'am.
The invoice, I think the treasurer can confirm this. The invoice for South Suburban Mayors and Managers is listed at the full amount of $11,261. When I was at Village Hall yesterday, I believe Janet was voiding that because the agreement was we were only going to pay half at this time.
Correct. I pulled it from the list of checks to sign and gave it to Treasurer Britton, and she corrected the matter so that we will, I guess the issue is that the board did approve the full payment, and I obviously neglected to tell the treasurer that we were agreeing with the decision, the agreement from South Suburban Mayors and Managers to cut it in half. So, but thank you. Yes. So I signed the check for Treasurer Britton. What was it? 5,000. $561, something like that. You're on mute, but that's okay. So yes, we corrected that, and we're paid half, and we'll pay half in another 6 months. Thank you. Anyone else? All right, roll call please, Clerk Moscow.
Trustee Cagney?
Aye.
Trustee Ivan?
Aye.
Trustee Crowley?
Aye.
Trustee Killerly?
Aye.
Trustee Kreis?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to trustee business, trustee Kreis.
I don't have anything this evening, Mayor. I will have some items next week, including the application for the Invest in Cook, and that's all I have this evening.
Thank you, ma'am.
May I ask a quick question? From our conversation at last week's meeting, Karen, you were hoping that you were going to hear from Dan Skirpin with regards to the Honda building. Did he ever contact you?
He did, and I was actually going to save this for until next week as well, but I can briefly update the board if they'd like. I had a lengthy conversation with him, and unfortunately, it's far more complicated than I thought. The legal description on the property is incorrect. And he told me that there's a couple issues. 3 feet on the north side of the building. There's a 16 square foot parcel on the north end of the alley. And his fear was if he went to tax sale, he would not have clear title. And he'd have to have clear title. So we talked through it. He also indicated that Comerica never foreclosed on the property. It is still owned by the family that owned Chicago Sports and Cycle. So, long story short, after he told me these, he still wants to move forward with the project, but going through a tax deed, he would not have clear title. So I said, well, I think the only way that this could be resolved would be using the attorneys for the land bank. And he said if the land bank could acquire the property, then he would purchase the property from the South Suburban Land Bank and Development Authority. So I told him I would reach out to the land bank on Monday, which I did. And again, there's no executive director. Chairman Mark Miller from Blue Island has jumped in to act as executive director. I explained everything to him. Before they involved the attorneys, he was going to do some research. And Stalini, the one staff person, actually called me about another issue today. We have a board meeting tomorrow, and she is going to start delving in on that project on the Honda building next week. So I think if the path to getting clear title would be through the land bank. And so they told me when I spoke to Mark, he said, this is going to take some time. And I said, well, it's already taken a lot of time. So if they can do it, I think that's our only path right now. So it is being worked on by the land bank.
So the land bank has agreed to take it on?
They have not agreed. They are researching it. They're trying to look at and Mark Miller with Stalini was going to do the preliminary work so they didn't have to pay Brent Denson.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll keep you updated. But again, it was all hands on deck for the board meeting tomorrow, which we have at 2:00.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, ma'am. So now you can take that off your agenda for next week, right, trustee Kreis?
Unless I have an update.
Unless you have an
If I have an update, I will talk about it next week, okay?
All right, thank you, ma'am. Trustee Ivan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing to report today.
And you had to step,
Thought I'd do a little video.
he had to step up into camera to say he had nothing tonight. Trustee Gillis, are you here tonight? Did you show up? Okay, moving on. Trustee Cagney.
Thank you, Mayor. On my agenda, I wanted the board to review and consider authorizing Robinson to move forward to apply for this call on behalf of the village to see if we can get some preliminary engineering funds for any of the drainage studies that the village had performed in Bremen Heights and in Belly Button Hill. So the applications are due on March 12th. I think this would be a great opportunity for the village to secure some funding for technical assistance and preliminary engineering of the 3 alternative solutions that were presented in both of those drainage studies.
Engineer Huss is already looking into it to see if it would be something that would benefit us, and he's also reached out to his co-workers who, I'm sorry to take your thunder there, Engineer
That's
Huss.
okay.
South Holland, was it, James?
Yes, South Holland, as I mentioned in an email today, excuse me one second, they had a project that looks like had some sort of conceptual approval. It must have to be on the brochure, that looked mysteriously similar to some of our recommendations for the Bremen Heights location specifically. So first step right now is I will be attending the webinar on Friday, as I mentioned, Mayor, and then I'll have more to report after that.
Thanks, sir.
May I ask a question? The only question I would have is would it behoove us to just pick one instead of submit 2? Would that possibly increase our chances that they would select a project?
I would certainly agree with you there. I think the first step is, which we'll learn on Friday, is more specifics as far as how applicable our projects are, and then. But yeah, I don't think there's any benefit to applying for both.
Trustee Cavey?
That's all I have at the moment, Mayor, but I do reserve the right to speak later in the meeting if I think of something.
Please forget that you're on mute. Okay. Trustee Kiley?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Crowley?
Just a couple things tonight, sir. I just want to update the board. I know I spoke briefly last week about the fact that the village is diligently seeking vaccine opportunities for our seniors. We will have the form up on our website tomorrow where seniors who are still looking for the vaccine can sign up. So in the event we are able to find opportunities, we can get that information out quickly to them. So anybody who has a senior that does still need the vaccine, please have them check our website tomorrow or at the latest Monday to sign up for that. And the only other thing I have, and I think Chief Delaney will get into this a little bit more, is a huge thank you to the South Suburban Major Crimes Task Force, and an extra huge thank you to our police department and detective division for how they handled the situation last week. And that's all I have this evening, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on to department heads. Chief Hotwagner?
Yes, sir. I think I made the whole board aware of the issue at Station 2 with the ice standing and water leaking. We'll continue to work on it. Work with Superintendent Sperry and building superintendent on the issues, and Maggie with the insurance claim. Thank you for that. Pardon?
What happened?
We had a lot of ice damming on the roof, and all the water got in the whole north side of the wall. I sent you an email. You should have
You know what? I haven't been on my emails this afternoon.
Yeah, we got a lot of water in, and so they had to open the walls up and air it out and stuff. We've been getting calls all around town, the same issues, homeowners, not knowing what to do. The main thing is if anybody asks, around town, or any residents have any questions, make sure if you have any electrical problems, you shut the fuses off, call us, we'll come out and investigate it. But yeah, we're dealing with the Station 2 issue. It's opened up right now, and airing it out, and I'll keep everyone informed as we move along. That's all.
Thank you, sir. I did stop by there yesterday on the way home from work, and I did my part to assist Andy by standing at the bottom of the ladder watching him hammer and chisel ice dams off here.
Yeah.
But yeah, the videos or the pictures tell the story. All right, sir. Thank you. Chief Delaney.
Yes, sir. Just a huge thank you to our officers for their work on that homicide that night. In particular, Officer Scully, who was the one that observed and heard the shots fired and responded and got control of that scene very quickly to preserve the evidence and make sure that no one left. to get the assistance there from Crestwood, Oak Forest, Markham, Posen, Robbins, and our agency, to our detectives and the South Suburban Major Crimes Task Force. If it wasn't for all the great work done by everybody, it might have gone unsolved, but luckily it wasn't. So everybody involved in that will be getting commendations, and I'm proud to be their chief. They did a great job. And that's all I have.
I concur. I was up here with Trustee Crowley on Saturday for the with the South Suburban Major Crime Task Force, and it was pretty overwhelming. Pretty overwhelming, the support, but you definitely, our guys did a great job. So thank you.
Even all the other agencies were complimentary on how our patrol guys got that scene under control and did not let anybody leave the scene, and just preserving the evidence. And we were told many times that they wish that they can have the same thing at their agency. So it's definitely something to be proud of.
As we've said many a times, our department is second to none, sir. Second to none.
Thank you, sir. Superintendent Weiner.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you, sir. Superintendent Sperry.
Nothing tonight, sir.
Thank you, sir. Engineer Huss.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two very brief items. Superintendent Sperry and I have been beginning to prepare the 2021 CDBG application that is due on March 12th. Related resolutions, they're rather boilerplate. They're just attesting that the entirety of the village is on board with the submitting the applications. Those will be on the agenda for the first March board meeting, which is on the 10th. And then we will submit the application on the 12th. Second item is that we have the bid opening for the sanitary sewer improvements tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. I expect a few good bids. We have both the major players picked up documents, so we expect some competition there, which is always good. The recommendation for award will be turned around quickly, and hopefully we can also award that at the March 10th board meeting. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Treasurer Britton.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Deputy Clerk Kolacki.
I have nothing.
Thank you, ma'am. Attorney Valdez. Can't hear you. Still can't hear you.
Yeah, you're muted.
No, he wasn't.
Just tell them that I'll do litigation and bargaining unit matters tonight rather than fall next week.
He will be doing litigation and bargaining matters tonight in closed session instead of doing it next week. Okay, thank you, sir. Unfortunately, oversight with the Class 8 renewal for Ambiance Midlothian LLC not getting on the agenda tonight for approval, so I will have it on the agenda next week for approval under my business. Only other thing I have is the positivity rates continue to go down, and the restrictions continue to lessen. We are allowed to have 50% or 50 people in a room. So I'm offering it to the trustees who would like to come back into the boardroom. There's plenty of room in here to social distance while wearing masks if we want to. I don't want to force anyone, especially if you're waiting for a vaccine or whatever else it is that you are waiting for. So I'm just giving you the okay. It's okay to come back into the boardroom. If you choose to stay home and Zoom, we can continue the Zoom, but I will be the only one here in this premises on Zoom because of the echoing and stuff. So let me know your thoughts this week before next meeting, but just letting you know we're cautiously optimistic that we're heading in a very good direction. So that's all I have tonight. Clerk Moscow?
I have nothing tonight, sir.
Then at this time, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn to closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee of the public body, and also to discuss possible litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed, or is pending?
I'll make the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, and, hold that motion. Which one was it? Oh, to discuss collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives. Go.
Now I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Trustee Item will second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we're in closed session.
Okay, can you hear me now?